What is up, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. My name is BZ. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I have just not been in the mood to upload, and that seems like to be a more common occurrence recently. But there is something that has brought me back to actually make videos and has gave me the confidence back, because I sat there and I thought about it and I'm like, this really happened. Did you know that WWE is making an anime? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it has come out that WWE and Crunchyroll have partnered together to set up an anime down the road. This was in the first quarterly call for the WWE staff, where they have mentioned this, and they said that they are planning to make an anime sometime down the road. And as someone who is both an avid anime fan and an avid wrestling fan, hold on, give me a second. But as someone who is both an avid anime fan and an avid wrestling fan, this news is just the perfect video for me, because I can give my insight and speculation as to what I can expect from this type of collaboration happening. Because right now, as it has it, we don't actually have any real confirmation as to what this anime is going to be, who's going to be involved, what studio could possibly be a part of this, or if not, maybe Crunchyroll's own animation internal studios will probably take care of it. But who knows? We're gonna get maybe somebody else, maybe somebody in the States. Will people even consider this an anime? Because it won't be made in Japan, which is the dumbest thing I have ever heard. But I am here today to give my speculations on those sorts of things. Now, the first part we do have to talk about is what direction they could possibly go in. And honestly, there are somewhat of a good number of ways that they can go in terms of possibly making some type of anime wrestling product, or a product that reflects WWE. As an example, they can potentially make a story about some generic random wrestler who rises through the ranks of WWE using very notable names in order to build that brand recognition for the wrestler to go through. Now, while this is a way that they can go down, I actually think it's the most unlikely version, since doing it that way would basically be very similar in terms of booking a wrestling show. Now, that would play in the very strong suit of WWE, because they are a wrestling company, so they book wrestling shows. So making an anime that revolves around the idea similar to booking a wrestling show would be right up their alley. Unfortunately, the realization is that wrestling isn't as big as it was back in the 90s and early 2000s. So doing it in that way would probably not bring any more new fans to it, and would just have the diehard fans actually watching the product. Not only would they be the only ones watching the product, but there's probably a bunch of wrestling fans who aren't big fans of animes themselves, so it's kind of a crapshoot as to whether or not a wrestling fan could translate to anime very well, despite the meme of wrestling is basically just anime. So then, if not an anime about wrestling, then what exactly would an anime made by WWE could be? Well, if you actually know things about wrestling WWE, there's actually a number of avenues they can actually go down. For starters, they can play more on the supernatural aspect of the wrestling product, such as getting people like The Fiend, played by Bray Wyatt, The Demon, played by Finn Balor, The Undertaker, played by The Undertaker. They could get Kane, and they could get Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper, and Sister Abigail, and whatever Alexa Bliss is right now. They could go down that avenue and make something supernatural. Or they could go ahead and actually play off their mobile game, WWE Legends. I think I remember it being, where the big names in the WWE universe were literal gods with their own powers. And you could potentially make a show about that. They would be promoting an old app, which I don't think is around anymore, but it would be an interesting concept for an anime at least. Now, there is one other avenue that WWE can go down, and it's an avenue they've actually visited before in terms of animation, and that is making a story similar to that of WWE Camp. Now, many people might not actually know, including wrestling fans, what WWE Camp is, but it was a crudely animated show where WWE wrestlers were these weird chibi, not chibi things that went to camp, and they decided to just do camp things related. That's an avenue that they can revisit. However, I don't think it would be the best case, because it was bad. It was bad, and it was not great. And honestly, if we get anything of the same level of animations as we did from WWE Camp, I'm going to be very disappointed, and Crunchyroll will just have to stop making original content, because for the love of God, I am tired of getting poorly animated things from Crunchyroll. There's only so much I can take after X-Arms, Crunchyroll. The second part, obviously, that we have to talk about is the people who will potentially be involved. And lucky for WWE, they have a vast majority of people to reach out to and get for this type of project. On one hand, you have people who have been in Hollywood and are recognizable to this point, where someone in the mainstream audience would actually go ahead and watch it just for them. People like John Cena, Batista, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Sasha Banks. There's a vast majority of people who you can plug into this, not only from Hollywood, but just having big name wrestlers who can put their names on this and get it out a lot easier. And then on the other side of that camp, you have people who are actual passionate anime fans. People like Keith Lee, the whole entire New Day of Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston, and Big E. You have Ember Moon, you have Seth Rollins, you have Rey Mysterio. People who are very big fans of both anime or anime related things like Marvel and DC, those type of stuff. I could see those people wanting to be a part of this project and actually having a very good job and a very fun time working on this. Now, I do want to go back on something I touched earlier in the second part, where I said they have a lot of big wrestlers that could draw the names because people want to listen to them. My issue with that, while the positive would be that you would gain a bigger audience from a more notarized name, a lot of those people don't actually act very well. There's some people there that they have that I do think could do a good job. People like John Cena, Batista, The Rock, Sasha Banks, people I was before. Hell, even Ronda Rousey, I can see attempting this and actually doing a pretty decent job with another big name. But there's probably a lot of big names out there that they would want to pull from their WWE contracted wrestlers or contracted legends that probably wouldn't fit something like this. Let's be honest, unless you are building the actual wrestler himself, or if you build someone that is vastly similar to that wrestler, I don't think somebody like Stone Cold Steve Austin would fit very well in an anime as a voice actor, despite being one of the bigger names known in the wrestling community. And that's not a shot to him or anybody else that just hasn't acted before or acted in Hollywood or would be considered bad actors in a sense. That's not anything against them. There are just some things that just don't mesh, and there are some people that just won't click in certain environments, and I can imagine quite a lot of people who just wouldn't mesh in those environments. Which is also disappointing when you think about it, because there are probably a lot of wrestlers out there who do really good promo work that would do it. I'm talking about people like Tommaso Ciampa, Shayna Baszler, like Becky Lynch, Drew McIntyre. These wrestlers have such predominant promo skills and have vastly deepened and great voices to the point where they could probably fit a lot of roles in both the villain and hero, just any kind of anime part, and it would sound amazing. But I guess overall it does come down to what I in particular have confidence in WWE or not, if I think they can actually put on a good product of anime. I'll be honest, No, I don't think this is going to be good at all. Let's be honest with ourselves with this. This project's survival depends on which side will have the majority of control and which personnel are going to be involved in the interaction of this. I doubt that someone like Vince McMahon would actually be involved in a product like this, since he probably doesn't care, nor does he really understand. Which, thank God, I don't want someone who is constantly going to rip up scripts and writing days and hours before show starts to be involved in an anime product. That would literally drive everybody insane. With that being said though, like I said, their product on stage isn't very good as of late. There are a few really decent things, but overall I would not say it is on a caliber that can bring an anime to full shine. And their animated stuff that they put out as well hasn't been very good. If we get people who are associated in the writing of The Fiend or Roman Reigns' heel turn or Sami Zayn's character, then by all means, hell, if you can get the entire NXT brand to just work on this anime, I would probably be so hyped as an anime fan. Do I think it can live up to the level of something as glorious as a Violet Evergarden or as impactful as a Full Metal Alchemist? Absolutely not. But it would definitely be a very notable piece in whatever season it would come out in, and it would already gain very much interest since it is a WWE associated product. Now, if I'm being completely honest, I don't think that we're going to have the creative writers work on this. I think that Crunchyroll will have far more say just because they are the ones that are paying for it, so they'll probably have whatever the final product they have, which that doesn't fill me with confidence either. Again, we got fucking X-Arms, but I digress. At the very least, this is definitely an interesting story to follow and an interesting story to go and talk about. So that's why I'm going to try to follow this for as long as I can. This will probably be the story I follow for the whole year and try to give updates on as much as I can, being I am both a big wrestling fan and a big anime fan. So, like I said, I don't know. Who knows where the wind goes? We could hear about this 3 or 4 years down the road. We could hear about something next year. And I'm going to be honest, if we hear something sometime as early as next year or the end of this year, I doubt that it will ever be any good at all. But with that being said, thank you for listening to me ramble. If you liked what I put out, please subscribe to the channel. I am almost at 300 subscribers, and I would like to keep growing so I can have more confidence to actually put out content. If you have any opinions on the topic I've talked about, please leave a comment in the video. I always value any type of discussion that I could get. And also, just if you want to be nice to me, go ahead and like the video and check out all my descriptions of stuff that I do on other stuff. My name is Mise, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace.